So my name is Cody Wilson. I am a physician. I practice in primary care pediatrics. So I've been in practice for 7 years. I graduated my residency 4 years ago. And one of the questions that we get very often in our office is about an infection called hand, foot, and mouth disease. So it's a very common infection. We see it a lot. I've seen it in my kids several times, and it's not very fun to deal with. So one of the presenting symptoms of hand, foot, and mouth disease are very similar to the name. So you get a rash on your hands and your feet, which is kind of unique. It's caused by a virus, and it will spread basically to different parts of your body. The other thing that we see is the mouth version of that, where they get painful sores in their mouth, and that really is the key. And the trouble we see is because it's painful, so they don't swallow very well. So one of the first things you're going to see in younger kids is that they don't eat very well, and you're wondering what's going on, and then you open their mouth and you see these sores, and that's kind of the main problem that we have to deal with. Okay, so if your child does end up getting hand, foot, and mouth disease, there's a few important things you need to remember. First of all, it's a virus, and so there isn't any specific treatments that we can do to treat the infection. But what we really want to do is focus on the complications, which the number one thing we're worried about because of the painful sores in the mouth is going to be that they get dehydrated. So you want to make sure you give them as many fluids as possible, kind of stick to some soft foods, things that are easier to swallow. For discomfort, which happens sometimes, you really want to stick with things like Tylenol or ibuprofen, things like that. Some of the things you can do are very, very common, things that you hear 100 times but you just kind of forget about. Washing your hands is the number one thing. If you can wash your hands, that will help get that infection away so you won't be able to contract that. So hand, foot, mouth disease is typically a pretty mild illness, but it can cause complications. So if you have any concerns along the way, make sure you call us. We can go over things and make sure everything's okay.